Okay, now I know a lot of people watching my YouTube videos might think that I'm saying that drills are the wrong tool for the job, or they might think that I'm saying that they're too dangerous or they're dangerous and stuff like that. I'm not saying that at all. So that's the thing is a lot of people are missing the message that I'm sending. My message is always about safety and also speed because everything has a speed limit. And that's the thing. Faster doesn't mean better and doesn't mean job done right. And there's a lot of people that disagree with me on this. But that's the thing is I've got the science that backs up what I'm saying. That's the thing. But regardless of that, no, I'm not saying drills are wrong. Like this day and age with the technology that we have in these things are very superior to any other tool for doing fasteners. From the little guys up, and mostly with these mid torques. Like now that this poor girl's died, this thing's still running. This thing will still do all my heavy duty work because this thing's been a powerhouse for me. It's done fine. This thing, it's had its issues. It was strong, but I'm actually going to upgrade this to that new mid torque because it will still drive fasteners like this. Okay, it won't really handle these very well, but with a piloted hole, it will sink these things, and it will drive up to 10-inch on the timber locks and stuff like that, which I like. And the other thing I like about it is it's small and compact. So that's the only reason why back in the day when cordless was a thing, we had cordless drills first. We didn't have impacts till the late 90s. The late 90s impacts started showing up. They were a godsend because they were small, they were compact, they fit in our post, and most of the time they would drive a fastener that drills didn't because they had a constant torque factor to them. But no, these things are actually like this day and age, and this is why I tell people if you're gonna if you're gonna have a choice between an impact or a drill, buy the drill first. Because not only that, you need to learn how to operate a drill before you use these things. Because these things are kids' toys. This makes you a little bit more skillful and crafty. But the wonderful thing is, though, we've got smaller drills that can do some pretty amazing stuff. And those new compacts, like the new Metabo, the brand new Metabo HTP, and the new Milwaukee, those things are little powerhouses. Even that Flex, even though the Flex isn't really much smaller than this thing, it's still pretty impressive for the size. So, and not only that, they've got safety features that prevent you from snapping your wrist or getting knocked down. But my whole entire thing with tools is I've always been a firm believer, unless it's a tool like a hole hog or a tool that was made to be two-handed, that was meant for two-handed operation. If it was not meant for two-handed operation, I prefer to keep that tool two-handed, like one-handed. So with a drill, when it gets to a point where I can no longer use this thing one-handed, I'm going to switch to a tool in which I can, which means anything above this thing is going to be my mid torque impact or my high torque impact, because I can operate those one-handed. Now, why do I always want to be one-handed? Safety. Always having one hand free is safety. Safety from falling, safety from slipping, safety from stuff dropping. The wind picks up, something comes flying at you, you got one hand free to protect yourself. Or if you're working beside someone and you see them starting to fall, you got one hand free to reach out and grab them. I've always been about one-handed operations, like with skill saws and stuff like that. A beam saw, different story. That's a two-handed tool. Hole hog, that's a two-handed tool. Mud mixer, that's a two-handed tool. But tools that can be operated one-handed safely and efficiently, I prefer to keep them one-handed. That's all I'm about. And now, but the big thing, this day and age, drills are more superior because they are more versatile. And now that they're getting smaller and maintaining that level of power, that's even better. And with those safety features, the anti-kickback features and stuff like that, that's nice. Like these things are literally becoming obsolete. We really don't need these anymore. Not even for installation or sheet metal screws. Because little drills like this can do those sheet metal screws, can do all the self-tapperings, the self-drilling screws and stuff like that. This will do that, no problem. These will do that. If the subcompacts unit, like with these subcompacts, actually, honestly, impacts are becoming obsolete. These little impact drivers are obsolete. The only impacts that we need are the big impact from big sockets and big, massive, large fasteners like 3/4 inch lags and that. But honestly, I'm not against drills. My whole entire thing is about safety, but not only that, with drills, my only bone of contention of drills is people are using them too fast. Fasteners and drill bits have a speed limit. That's my biggest issue that I have with everyone on YouTube demoing these tools. They're showing you how fast they go. But in the end, I don't care about how fast it goes. I care about its peak torque, because its peak torque is going to show its longevity. So if it can drive this fastener at its maximum torque in low gear with less strain than this one does, then this one's better, and this one's going to last longer. This one's going to be more durable. See, that's a lot of things. People think that running it fast means less wear time. But running it fast means that you're running it at lower torque, therefore putting more strain onto the motor, more strain onto the battery. You're going to wear your battery out faster. You're going to wear out your tool out faster. Because when it starts to bog down and go, that's not healthy for it. That's worse than running this thing in low gear for longer. Because a motor running at a low RPM, high torque, is actually going to have more longevity than a motor running at high speed, low torque under load. So, and none of that, your batteries are going to last a lot longer running that way. But fasteners and drill bits have speed limits, and these drills are going too fast and high speed for it. And that's my only issue that I have. Like, that's my only real issue. And none of that, safety. Like, it's all about safety. Like, yeah, you got these guys showing you driving these big lags without drilling a pilot hole. You always drill the pilot hole because then that's safer, because then that makes these things one-handed operation. But that's the thing. If you want to use a drill for doing all this stuff, go ahead. But when you're in situations where life can matter on it, your life can depend on it, having a free hand is always key. So if I got to put a T-handle on this thing to drive a fastener or drill a hole, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use my 7/16 drive impact, or I'm going to use my mid-torque impact to do that same job one-handed. It might take me a little bit longer, but at least I'm doing it safer. And that's my whole entire thing. But yes, this day and age, drills are more superior than impacts in so many ways. And before you buy any of these tools, buy a drill first. Get a drill first. Always go for the drill first. Master the drill, then waste your time. It's kind of funny. I rarely ever touch this thing. My partner uses it. Like, you want to know how often I use an impact? This thing has been sitting here almost brand new. It's the original brushed. And it still works. It has a couple little tinks on it, but it's maybe been used 6, 7, 11 times. Like no more than 20 times I've used that thing. That thing I've only used once in a blue moon. But like when I needed something small for the space before I got this thing and this thing. But this thing I use a lot for installation, and only for installation. I have a reason for using this for installation. This thing has a special purpose. But now that we got smaller drills than that, this thing, like look at the size. Look at the size. Not that big of a difference. But yeah, that's the thing, is I'm not arguing with people about is the drill a better tool or stuff like that. Is the right tool? Because that's the thing. And like I said in one of my other videos, in the 80s, we didn't have drills that could do this, that weren't two-handed. You needed a two-handed drill to do these things. They were big, heavy, and bulky, and taking up that up a ladder sucked. And that's why a lot of us smarter contractors started using corded impacts. The corded impact was a one-hand operation, allowed us to have one hand free at all times, and would drive these fasteners pretty much at the exact same speed that the drills did, but it did it safer. And we used the drills for drilling holes like they were intended to, because there's less risk of drilling a hole than drilling a big nasty fastener. But that's the thing, is we didn't have big fancy high-powered cordless tools like this, and the cordless tools that we had were gutless and useless. They were great for small little screws. Like even putting a 3-inch deck screw was hell with some of those old cordless drills. Like cordless drills were just a niche thing that were starting to become a fad, but they weren't much of any good except for doing installations, and that was about it. Just doing installations, small little screws, small little fasteners. But this day and age, this is going to be your first tool that you buy out of all of these things around here. This is going to be your first tool, the drill. You're going to get yourself a good, decent quality drill. Because, yes, they are very safe nowadays. They are very intuitive. They're smart. They're powerful. But just watch your speed. Don't overheat your fasteners. Don't overheat your drill bits. And if you are going to use it two-handed, make sure you're doing so safely, in a position where you can do it safely, and that if something goes wrong, you're not going to get hurt. That's all I'm saying, because that's all I care about. I've seen so many people in my years of the industry. Like, I've worked on job sites that had thousands of people on them, and accidents are brutal. It's the same with skill saws and stuff like that, all kinds of tools. Just being smart and being safe. That's all I'm here to try to teach you guys, is about safety. Okay, that's it. But no, I'm not saying a drill is the wrong tool. I'm not saying drills are dangerous. Everything is dangerous. There's just a smarter way to do it. And just my belief is one-handed operation is always the safest way to go. So if you can do a job one-handed, use that tool. If you can't do it one-handed, then it's not the right tool. That's my view. That's my opinion. And you guys believe whatever you want. That's things. I'm 60 years old. I don't have any broken bones. I'm not crippled. I'm not disabled. I'm not beat up. I've taken care of myself. And my employees that work for me, they still have all their fingers. They're still alive and still working to this day. And the people around me are still alive. Like, that's, like, it just comes down to that. But no, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that people like Robert or the, not who's that other drill guy, there's not couple other drill guys, they're not wrong. These are more superior in so many ways. These have a time and place, but they're really actually more obsolete now. They're very obsolete. Impacts are very obsolete now. But anyways, that's my view, that's my opinion, and I just thought I'd clear that up for you guys.